Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. My buddy Rhett. It is Monday morning. It is 8:16 a.m., February 23rd. It's pretty cold out. It didn't feel too terrible this morning, but it is cold. For some reason, none of my normal sort of little indicators popped up in my lower left corner. Who knows what's going on with Windows? Um, It appears that I guess Linux is starting to make a big comeback. I used Linux exclusively for probably 10 years. I finally came back to Windows because it was kind of weird. It was like at first it was like everybody at your job used Linux, but at home you used Windows. And then so we started to migrate over to to Linux at home, and then next thing you know, everybody at work started using. Well, I guess what happened was that like American exclusive sorts of things went to Windows. So like the Department of Defense, and all the different IRS, all those got post office, all those guys started just going exclusively to Windows, and then corporations just quit hiring Americans. They're just like, we don't need Americans anymore. And I guess maybe those corporations were probably using Linux, um, maybe, and so maybe that's what happened. I don't really know, but I do know that it did change. All right, so we are working on getting a table, and the table will show us like kind of the state of the application. So basically, this describes a visualization. So if I go over here, all of that JSON, all those 9 things describe that cube. Right, so we've got a renderer, a camera, a scene, a mesh, a geometry, a material, an animation, a viz component. So this is an Angular thing, and a visualization, which is also another Angular thing. And so this is sort of everything, all um, rolled up into just pure exportable data, which is what I was doing. And then yesterday evening, I got this to where you could click on it, and then you just get the detail, and you can do more than one and all that. So I think that looks good. So next is a filter, because I think that eventually I'm going to have thousands of these things in one visualization, or thousands of these different little guys cobbled together. And I would like to be able to just um, search on that. And at some point, I probably want to add a new attribute called name or something like that so that I can name things, which then makes it a lot easier to search for things. But anyway, so we need to go to Angular Material. So my little guy showed up finally. That's this material Angular dev. Let's see, 25 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So that's that. Um, I think it's going to be a high of like 50 today, if I remember correctly. Oh no, only a high of 35. Tomorrow is a low of 40 and a high of 49. It's kind of weird because you would think, how could the low of 40 of Tuesday be higher than the high of Monday, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. You would think at midnight, the absolute warmest it could possibly be based on this graph is 35 degrees. So you would think the low couldn't possibly be higher than today's high. That's weird. Anyways, that's sort of the thing that you end up starting to look for all the time when you're a developer. You're always looking for like little indicators that there's some strange disconnect between the data and the UI. It's just the nature. I guess I'll probably need to add paging. Maybe we'll come back and do that after we know for sure that we're going to want paging. But I do know I want filtering, and I do know that we have this table. And I know we have our examples, and I know that about four down or 5 down is our input, or our filtered version. There we go. I guess that was probably like 6 or 7. All right, so let's figure out what our market. Well, first, I guess we want to look here and see if there's any kind of. Or I see. I think we already have all of these inputs. Mat input module and mat form field module, but maybe not. Scroll up to the top. Oh, so it doesn't look like it. Actually, we did not pull either of these. Okay. Mat table module. It's kind of wild because we never pulled in this mat data source. Oh, I guess you need that as a type. So that down here, I was thinking down here we'd see something that was strongly typed to a mat data source. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is for filtering. And this is a function. Mat data source is a function, huh? All right. Let's pull that in first and sort of do a little bit of investigation on that. Comma. Get rid of this thing. And see if it knows how to find it. It acts like it knows where to find it from. Yep. And that's exactly where it is. All right, so this is weird. Is that, oh, I don't think this was a module though. Yeah, that's a function that we download. That's kind of cool though. Like we were able to use that as a way to uh to find it, like we didn't have to, like it found it for us. All right, so we also want this mat input, and this is what's going to let us create that really pretty input field at the top. And for some reason, it is not as confident as to where this came from. I don't know why. That's weird. All right, so we'll just copy this. It's so wild how much your mileage varies these days. It's just, I guess there's just so many ways to get things done nowadays. It used to kind of be, I don't know, programming in general was a little bit more opinionated back in the day. It was just like, this is exactly how you do this. But now we have like 100 ways to do everything. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just really don't. Genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic or anything. I really, really don't know. It's nice having the flexibility to kind of do exactly what you want to do, exactly how you want to do it, but it's also kind of hard. So it's weird because we did not do this to populate the data. So our data source is filtered table records, which is like this. Now the other one I don't think did the data source. I wonder if that data source thing kind of handles like overwriting things and stuff like that. Yeah, see over here we never even in this we never even loaded data source. So it's weird. It's weird that it definitely does not seem to be doing what I thought it was doing, I guess is what that would come down to. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see what happens if we don't create it as a data source. So what does this say it is? It's a data source. Oh, extends the map paginator. So if you want paging, I guess you need to have this data source thing. Ooh, Lord. Okay, so it was really nice having this like this, but looks like what we actually need to do is, I don't know. Let's try changing this to a data source. I think we could tell it the kind of, like, let's see if I can mouse over this at data source. Okay, so I could tell it. I think that little T there means that I could tell it what kind of things. But it looks like, yeah, the paginator thing won't be able to use this if I don't. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to create data source. And we'll put this right below filtered records. Control V. And I'm guessing I would do this, colon, well, first of all, I guess we want filtered tabled records. This is very mysterious to me. So, I'm just sort of moving. Does it need to be this? Okay, so that seems to be okay. And then I think I could say like this, colon, mat, table, data source, and then this, and then st. All right. I do not know. Let's just see if it compiles, if that works. And then I don't know, like I think we're going to have to tell data source when it's updated with the filtered tables. But nothing is breaking. Everything seems to be happy. All right, let's move forward a little bit. Okay, so here they apply the filter, they get the value, and then they say data source dot filter is equal to filter value trim. Okay, so here's where we define how it's going to filter. I guess it just handles it on its side. So I had in my mind, like when I started this episode, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to change based on the filter. I'm going to change the records that are in there. But apparently you can use this um, thing to create a variable, a function, because filter value dot trim to lowercase. And it's saying data source filter. So somewhere behind the scenes, it looks like it applies this. And I don't know, like filter value. Oh, okay, yeah. It looks like it's takes some kind of text or something. Um, but now let's look in the HTML and see. Let's see if we can get back. Oh my gosh, I keep doing that. Mm, Okay, so I'm looking in the HTML. Basically, what I'm trying to figure out is how we set this table, but for some reason I don't see the top of the table. Oh, there it is. Okay, so they said data source is equal to data source. So let's see what happens if I set data source equal to data source. I don't think it's going to work because like this is empty. It never populates anything. But let's see. Data source. Okay. Add. So I don't think. See, I think it might even still have the old data in there. Yeah, see, it's not working at all. I think it's because over here, I don't know. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and then circle back around here in a second. But when I say apply filters, right? Table filter. And then I guess this dot data source dot. What do we have? Data. Oh, it has a filtered data. I don't know what to do here. Is equal to. So I kind of like, I think I'm doing like a double filtering here. I think I went down the wrong path here, um, but we'll see. Like it seems like what I want to do is probably get rid of this, only at, put table records into here, and then, okay, so that is working now. But I think I want this dot table records, and I just want to get rid of the whole concept of filtered records. Because it looks like they have like a function that you can give it that will filter it, which is probably going to be like a much better way to do it. Probably. Not 100% sure, but probably. Okay, so that's working. Okay, so I don't want to do this anymore. And then this filtered, I just want to get rid of the table filtered completely. Yeah, I was going to say, I would think that would affect something. Okay. Now it looks like what we want to do is, and again, this is such a luxury because I've never really been able to just, like, whenever I've had a task like this to set up filters and stuff, I've never really been able to just sit there and just dig into like the little details. It was just like get it working and move on. Now it's like, okay, I get to sit down and just really dig in, and that's nice. Okay, so we want to get rid of the filtered table. So it looks like we give it the data. And then it looks like what we do is we give it, ooh, where is it upset? Ah, this dot table records now. So it looks like, yeah, you tell it all of the table records. I feel like I've done it both ways, like where we set up a filter, like a little function, and it runs the function, and I've set up where we actually handle the filtering on our side by just removing and adding records. And I think if nothing else, even if like their system creates tons of like issues with detached nodes and stuff like that, memory kind of things, like as you upgrade, it'll probably get itself resolved. I would 9 times out of 10, that's how that works. Um, all right, so now we're trying to figure out how to deal with filtering. And okay, so in here they have an apply filter function. And what this will do, I guess, will, and I don't want to send the event. I want to send the text. Uh, and then what is the problem? Colon. And return true. I think that's what's happening here. I'm not 100% sure. Um, okay. So now this is a function, I'm guessing. This data source filter is a function. It needs a pat. It looks like it needs something, though. I don't know. A map paginator. But they don't do anything. All they do is assign it a value. So I don't know. Let's hit save. Try to figure that. See what happens. Add one of these. We shouldn't really see anything. I just don't want everything to break. Okay. So I want anything that has, I guess, the number 4 in it. So you would think this one and this one. So what if I just, instead of, okay, I do call apply filter. Okay, so here we should call this dot apply filter. And what happens if we send an empty string? I'm curious if that means it'll filter out everything or, okay. So let's see if we give it a value, 4. So what I'm hoping is that everything that doesn't have a 4 in it will be gone. Wow, so that worked. So that's really cool. Okay, so I want to have a value, filter value, and that is by default set to blank. And then I'm going to pass in this dot filter value. So everything should show up. And now let's just say filter value is equal to 7. And we add this. And there we go. All these have 7s in it. So this is, the camera is sitting at 7 straight up, 7 deep. And it's looking at 0, 0, 0. It's sitting at 7. That's pretty neat. All right, so now where are we? 840. All right, so we need to do some purdying. We need to come in here to my HTML. I almost clicked up here on this stuff again. HTML, and we want our map form filled, and we want it to say filter and all that. Let's do this. And that goes above the table. And I don't know, apply filter dot value. $event dot, what can I do? I think it's like you can, so is return, so that's deprecated anyway, so we probably don't want that. I don't think I think what we want to do is we want to give this a name. So like this, I think it's called a reference variable name, template variable reference, something like that. So dot, let's say filter, and then I think I could say filter dot value. I think filter dot value. All right, so basically, I guess that's a good example. Okay, let's see if that works. So I definitely want that to go out to 100%, but let's just see. Okay, let's get rid of our existing filter. So I never get to be this sort of confident of what I'm doing in a work environment because you have deadlines. You can't this I'm not trying to give the impression that this is how you work. Um, you just don't have time to work like this way normally. Oh yeah, 6, 7, cam. See, these both have, this has a camera ID. This is an ST dash. And it looks like we're done with the exception of trying to get this to go out to 100%. which very likely is in their CSS. Hmm. Oh, okay, it's this thing, yeah. I did not think you could do this. I'm actually very, it must have been at a, and I'm actually very embarrassed because at my job I was like, you can't do this. But like, it must have been a very specific thing to wherever I was working at the time. And actually, it's not inside of my table, so. But I will say, like, I use my voice thing every day, my little voice application over here, voice. Um, and every once in a while I'll show somebody like this application, and I'm always just so proud of how it looks. I mean, it just looks so nice, and it's just like I didn't really do anything to make it look nice. Not really. Like I don't have any expertise. Okay, so yeah, that looks really good. So it's kind of weird though, because let's see, one back. I guess it did like a refresh and lost my number, but let's see. If I go here, I might have to set the value. So if I go here and then I come back, oh no, it's still there. Yeah, I think that was just, oh, but it didn't get applied. So either it should get applied and still be there or not get applied and not be here. I don't know. And I don't know exactly how to do that. Because I don't, because I think that it's still, this whole thing existed the whole time, but maybe not. Oh, okay. So actually, I guess it makes sense. So let me try that. So apply filter. Man, I did not feel well at all this morning, and now I actually feel so much better. It's crazy. I think once you're like, if you're into coding and stuff, once you start coding, like it disconnects you from your actual physical body, so you can feel good. Okay, so we apply the filter. A-N-I. Okay. And you see, we have our animation IDs 7. This is 7. See, this is so nice. Right here, we have 7, and then here's 7. And then if you wanted to look at it a little deeper, you have this, and then this. And that's really cool. And just stuff that wasn't around. I mean, it's just, it's going to make it a lot easier. Um, okay, so now I have a this. So now if I go to here, okay, so we end up applying the filter again. All right. So then if we hit back, so we didn't apply the filter this time. All right, comma, filter value, say 47. All right, we'll add one, and then we'll do a camera, CAM, and then we'll go to this view here, and then we'll hit, see, so we applied the filter this time and no value, but it really should be CAM. But what's wild is then when we hit back, but I think, so So I think the ideal thing to do is since we made a template reference variable of filter, then we can get a reference to that variable. So I can't remember how to do that. That is a man, I just can't remember off the top how to do that. So, but I do know the words. So T I am working in Angular 21 and I want I created a reference variable, created an element with a template reference variable, and I would like to get a reference to that variable in my TS. 8:49. Oh, I have to be on at 9 today, so I need to get off here in a second. So this is our template reference variable, and so now I want to get access to it. So what we want to do is that, and we want to use this exclamation mark because that's sort of our way of saying, hey, I know that I'm not actually defining this value, but it will get defined. That's what that means. It's going to get defined. That's what this little exclamation mark means. All right, so we have two things. We have a decorator function that is not here, and that comes from Angular Core. We're starting to get a lot of stuff from Angular Core, so I'm going to put these on their own lines. So once I get beyond 3, it's just like time to get. And I know viewChild. I'm pretty sure viewChild decorator function comes from Core, and I'm pretty sure element ref also does. So basically, just to break this down, we're saying, oh, okay, and then the name of this should be filter. Filter input. Filter input. And so, okay, so basically this is saying, take a variable that's named filter input and apply logic to it, decorate it, add attributes, add functionality to that object, that filter input object. Name it filter input, and this exclamation mark is shorthand for don't worry, transpiler, turn the transpiler off when it comes to checking to see, since we're not assigning it a value, and that we're telling it it's going to be an element ref and that it's going to be an HTML input element ref. So that is that. So now what we want to do is we want to get this value, but we don't know for sure if it's going to have a value. Sometimes it doesn't. The TypeScript exists before the HTML exists. I believe that's a typical thing. And so when we're coming up, if it exists and it has a value, then we want to use it. So, and I really don't want that code in here. So I'm going to say get filter value. Right? And basically the filter value is going to return a string no matter what, whether there's something there in the filter input or not. And then filter input. And this is of type element ref. And I guess, yeah. Do I want to do it? Yeah, I think I want to do it this way. And the reason I want to do it this way is because I think it's just going to be a lot easier to unit test if I pass it in. Return put dot native element dot value dot. Okay, so now, yeah, value. So basically, but we want to set the value. Actually, we want to return a variable, define a variable, and it's called our filter text. And by default is that, and then if, and we can do this, and we can just say if this input value, if that whole value exists. And I think we can even put like question marks here. So it'll add a bunch of extra like a bunch of extra logic there to just make sure that, hey, don't do anything if the if it doesn't exist, right? So don't try to use any of this. Then and then we want to return our filter text instead of the actual value. Ooh, I gotta go. Text. I don't know if this is gonna work it out. Let's try it real quick. So the goal is to add one of these, add a rend. Right, all we have is the one renderer. Go here, and then hit back. Nope. So for some reason, so apply filter, I got applied without any value, which is weird. All right, so this should be the first thing. Okay, so this is not working. Oh wait, did we even use it? Oh, that's funny. We never even tried to. I guess it's yeah, so we didn't actually apply it. Okay, so use get filter. All right, I gotta go. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.